Hey everybody, we're back at it. Welcome to part one of the video small group series, or excuse me, life group series that we have going on for the second go around of the Big Bay Theory, which starts this Thursday night. So this Thursday we're going to start talking about things like sex, dating, relationships. What does love truly mean when it comes to God and it comes to faith and it comes to the way that we should actually behave and live and love in our every single day lives. Super excited to preach on this. It's always an incredible time where we come together and we start talking about this because I really believe that it's just so on our hearts that sex, dating, and relationships is something that is so often talked about and preached and just an important part of our lives, something we're always talking about and thinking about. And yet I'm not sure it's always in the right way. I'm not sure we think about it and talk about it the right way. So we're going to take a handful of weeks, 5, 6 weeks, to talk about what God says about sex, dating, relationships, and what love really is. So when we do this, I'm actually going to combine our last sermon series. So I'm going to finish up Life Worth Living, which is our series out of Ephesians, and I'm going to use the last message of that to combine with the first part of the Big Bay Theory as we kick things off, and then we'll bring in some guests and have some other influences involved in that sermon series. But in Ephesians 5 and verse 1, it says, "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma." Again, verse 2, it says, "And walk in love," and walk in love. So basically what I want you guys to ask yourselves in discussion tonight, and this is going to be real simple, but I really believe that the conversation that I'm starting right here could probably last all night if you let it. But the first thing I want you to ask yourselves is what is love? And maybe even Google the specific definition for yourselves and you can talk about that, or maybe talk about what love has been between you and your relationship with your father, you and your relationship with your mother. And then what I really want you to do, let's get real vulnerable and real honest here. If this is your first night to this life group, sorry, not sorry. Well, we would love for you to just jump into conversation about your past relationships. What's been your experience with relationships, with love, with sex, with dating? First of all, I really want you to open this up a conversation and be vulnerable together so that you can start to maybe heal through the encouragement of others, through maybe some of the painful things that you've experienced in the past. But don't just dwell on the negative parts either. That's going to be a huge part of the discussion. I understand that's how it goes for all of us. But then maybe let's finish up for what you personally are believing for your future marriage or relationships, or maybe what you are thinking for the future for your love with your family, your brothers, your sisters, your moms, and your dads. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about love. Let's open up the discussion big time. Let's get vulnerable. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the negatives, all the positives, and let's talk about where God is going to take us in the future. Super excited to get this going with you guys. Pumped to be back for this last term. Let's get it started. Let's have a great time. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.